Hello, you grots and gits. Welcome back to Happy Corporate Wargaming, the most tactically focused, competitively focused Warhammer channel in all of the YouTubes. So, today we're going to be speaking about the Alaris versus the Venatari. I promise you all that rumors of my abandonment of the Custodes has been greatly exaggerated. I still love them. I just also had to go play orcs for a little bit because I love the orcs. I am the proud leader of the Adeptus Custodes, and you can be a member of the Adeptus Custodes too if you want to join up for my coaching services, which is entirely possible. All you gotta do is click on my coffee link down below and sign up for coaching. It is $100 a month, and we will do a 45-minute phone call once every single week. And if you don't have any particular subject that you're looking to get coached on or specifically practice on, then we just save all the days up and we do a private teaching game. So go ahead and sign up, become a Adeptus Custodes, and let me know what I can do to help you. Otherwise, you can always join the Discord as a member, and we super love and appreciate your support there, and we got lots of tactical advice going on in the Discord all the time, so make sure you jump in there on the members only section, or the free section if you'd like, because we still love our free Buddhas also. But let's start getting into it. So today we're talking about Alaris versus the Venatari, because we have to pivot the Custodes. Custodes did take a pretty big hit, but there are ways to run them, and I think this is one of the really exciting ways to do it. So, where are our Custodes right now? We're in a little bit of a precarious position. The win rate is actually very low for them. I believe the win rate is nonsense, though. We are not a 38% army. We're actually better than 38%, I promise you that. I think typically what generally happens is a lot of the people who were running Custodes, because it was just a super easy army to run, because let's just be honest, at the beginning of this edition, we were really just running 3 10-man blobs at people and saying, deal with me. Oh, you can't, you lose. It didn't take much skill to pilot. Custodes are still in a fine position. You just also have to pilot your army with some actual skill right now. So the win rate shouldn't be nearly as low as it actually is. You just need people to learn how to run the army now. And some of the veterans who skipped, they just went to other armies. So they're boosting up other armies' profiles now. I do think Custodes are still going to struggle to win your GTs, because I do think they were definitely a little overnerfed, but that doesn't mean that they're in a horrible, awful position where you can't play them. You're still it's perfectly reasonable to go to a tournament, expect your 3-2, even run for that 4-1. I think it's totally reasonable. Just winning the GT is probably pretty tough right now, but that's okay. So, where do Custodes pivot? In one of my last videos, I spoke really, really hard about the Alaris Custodians as one of the main pivot points. And I stand by that because Alaris are freaking amazing. They may have gone up 5 points each, and yeah, okay, that sucks, but they're still the best units that I have, I believe. They still get their full wound rerolls against all monsters, vehicles, and characters, and that is such a powerful ability, not to mention their ability to teleport once per game at the end of your opponent's phase. So, by the way, this does mean that if you go second, when your opponent ends their turn, you can pick up your terminators and teleport them turn 1. That's what that means. People who say you can't are wrong. That is the exact way that the entire Grey Knights army works. That's the exact way that the terminators work. They don't go back up into reserves. So no, you do not have to wait until turn 2. They just come off and they have to come back in next turn. Caladius gravity tanks, you know, actually, everyone knows me as the anti-Caladius guy. I'm really not anti-Caladius. I just was anti-Caladius. However, now, Caladius gravity tank stock has gone up dramatically because they took no nerfs while the rest of our army took very heavy nerfs. Now, I still think it's a complete waste if you're just taking one, because it's really, really easy for one Caladius gravity tank to fail to kill a Rhino. So I don't think that you want to do that. So some of basically all the infantry went up in cost. However, 2 units, which were very interesting, went down in cost. So that was our Sagittarum and our Venatari. So what I want to look at before we really get into the Alaris versus Venatari comparison, let's look at the Sagittarum first. Are they actually good now at a significantly lower cost? No. They're not. They suck. I love the Sagittarum. They were amazing in 9th edition, and they suck in 10th edition. They have no assault, which means that they just move 6 inches and have a heavy bolter that doesn't have sustained hits. They are at AP 1, which sucks because your enemy is going to be smashing you with that. They don't care because they're going to be in cover, and you might as well not have any AP. You have no access to rerolls, and you do get dev wounds once per game. That's okay, I suppose. But with a strength 5, AP 1, which is effectively 0 because they'll be in cover, they don't really have any place in killing anything. They're not good against orcs. They're not good against space marines. They basically just suck. So no, Sagittarum are not good. Let's talk about some things that are good. Venatori! yes, Venatori are actually good now. I do think they're still a little overpriced. However, they give us some really cool abilities that we did not have previously. So, just right off the bat, how do we equip them? Because you get the option to run pistols and shields or spears. You're taking spears. I do see the argument that if you're taking a 6-man blob of Venatori, which I don't really, I'm not going to do, but if you are taking the 6-man, you probably want 1 shield, because then that's going to boost one of the guys up to 4 wounds, so you can kind of tank a little bit of damage. So maybe you take 1 spear, or I mean 1 shield, but then you're going to have the other 5 spears. Personally, the way I want to run these guys is as 2 3-man blobs, because they are still expensive. It's 200 points for 3 of these guys, 400 points for 6 of these guys. So they're a standard custodian with a spear. It's going to be 5 attack, strength 7, AP 2, damage 2. However, these guys get lance. So when they charge, they're going to be at +1 to wound. That's a really, really nice thing, because they get to always fall back, shoot, and charge. So they're always going to be charging. So it's always going to be strength 7, AP 2, damage 2, +1 to wound. So against basically every single infantry in the game, you're always winning them on 2s. And against pretty much every vehicle in the game outside of a monolith, you're always winning on 4s. And if you do run into that T14 monstrosity, you're still winning on 5s. So they actually hit pretty damn hard. When you couple lance with the ability to fall back, shoot, and charge, it's pretty freaking awesome, actually. Now they have a second ability, because a lot of custodians have double abilities just because they're so expensive and super, super cool. They have the ability that allows them to spend 0 CP for a rapid ingress, even if it's already been used on another unit. This is not restricted to once per turn or battle round. So I looked everywhere. I looked through the commentary. I looked through the rulebook. There is nothing saying that only 1 unit. Excuse me. Ooh. Got to get that evil out of me. All right, so basically there's nothing that is restricting your ability to rapidly ingress more than once. So what you could do is you could rapidly ingress 1 unit for free, and then you could rapidly ingress another unit for free. It's not restricted on 1 unit gets to use this ability. It's this unit gets to use this ability once per battle round. So conceivably, you could use it on 3 units in a single turn. So if you wanted to run 3 3-mans, you could rapidly ingress all 3 of them in 1 turn. I'll take it even a step further. With you doing this, you could rapidly ingress, spend 1 CP to rapidly ingress some Alaris or maybe some Custodian Guard, and then rapidly ingress 3 units of Venatori. So you can get 4 units rapidly ingressing in 1 turn. This is actually a pretty interestingly terrifying tactic. I really want someone to try this out. I don't have that many Venatori. I only have 6 right now, but I do run them in 3-mans. It does open up some really interesting play for the Custodes, and it can horribly screw your enemy if they put themselves in the wrong position. Because remember, these guys move, I think it's 10 inches. They don't move 12, but they rapidly ingress. Then they move 10, and then they charge. They still shoot okay, I suppose. They're custodian shooting, so it's going to be 6 shots, strength 4, AP 1, damage 2. But when they charge, guys, it's going to be at that sweet +1 to wound. And the likelihood of you choosing sustained hits is really high. They're going to do some serious damage. Your enemies don't want these units in their backfield, and you can potentially rapid ingress 4 units in a single turn, which is real scary. So basically, yeah, Venatori are pretty damn good. I do freaking like them. Let's talk about the Alaris. So these guys did take a points nerf. However, they're still freaking awesome. I think I chose the wrong Alaris because you're never going to take axes, guys. You're always going to take spears. Axes are awful. Let me just give you a quick rundown on that. I didn't include this as part of the presentation, but I just realized I used axes in the picture, so I'm going to talk about it. There's a big debate. Do you use spears or do you axes? You don't use axes ever. The thing about the Custodes is Custodes are all very expensive models, but they're also extremely reliable because they have that sweet hitting on 2s with everything that you do. That's very, very reliable. Custodes get screwed when they're not reliable. If they lose reliability, they're too expensive and you just lose. As soon as you take an axe, you're suddenly hitting on 3s. You're not hitting on 2s anymore. So your reliability drops precipitously. Stack that with a -1 to hit, which there's a lot of ways in the game to be -1 to hit. Suddenly your axes are hitting on 4s, and your Custodes are a trash unit if your axes are hitting on 4s. Let's pretend that we're playing against Death Guard, who are also making you -1 to weapon skill and -1 to hit. Suddenly your Custodians with axes are hitting on 5s, and that unit sucks and is the most overpriced piece of garbage in the game. So please just don't take axes. Not to mention it's only AP1. So if you're playing against Space Marines or Votan, they're going to be using armor contempt every single turn, and you might as well have a baseball bat that has an AP of 0. Then you're just praying your enemy rolls 1s on their save rolls. So axes suck. Don't take them. Take spears. Spears are awesome. All right. So anyway, I digress. They have amazing shooting. And remember, they have the ability to re-roll wound rolls against monsters, vehicles, and characters. And if a character is attached to a unit, guess what? That entire unit is a character. So these guys have tons of wound rerolls going all over the place, which we desperately need now because we kind of just lost all the wound rerolls that we were taking from Custodian Guard because we're not really taking Custodian Guard anymore. I mean, some people might take one unit, but I'm running Wardens. I'm not running Guard anymore. So some people might argue with me. That's okay. People are allowed to be wrong. But anyway, so these guys are going to be your big source of your wound rerolls, and they're going to be your damage dealers. So you want them. They're awesome. They did go up by 5 points. They're still a value. They're still freaking great. They get that teleport that we were talking about. Let's compare these two. So which is better? Do we like the Alaris? Do we like the Venatari? In a really, really simple way of putting it, which really kind of sucks. Hold on, let me move my picture here. I generally don't like putting things super simply, but basically, yeah, I think a unit, like a big brick of Alaris Terminators is better than, say, a brick of Venatari. They're going to be roughly the same price point. I think Venatari are going to come in at 20 points cheaper for 6. So, is it 20? Maybe it's 30. I don't know. They're yeah, it's a weird price point. They're not much cheaper. They're a little bit cheaper for the equivalent models, but they're approximately going to be the same cost. Your big Alaris brick is more useful than a big Venatari brick, in my opinion, because that big Alaris brick is still hypermobile. It's actually tougher because everyone has the sweet 4 up, 4 wounds, and they've got the toughness of 7. They're all gonna be at that 2 up armor save, but everyone's at that 2 up armor save. So your big Alaris brick is probably just straight up better than your big Venatari brick. However, I find 3-mans of Venatari to be much more useful than a 3-man of Terminators, even though I still kind of like a 3-man of Terminators. I personally never take a 2-man. I think a 2-man is basically just a really expensive action monkey, and I have Imperial Assassins for that, or I have Prosecutors for 40 points to do that job. I don't need a super expensive action monkey. I need expensive infantry that's going to kill everything I want them to go kill. So yeah, I like my 3-mans of Venatori. When they run in, they get that automatic +1 to wound. The next turn, they're going to get to fall back, go into a different target, or the same target for that +1 to wound again. They're very, 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 very good. One of the big problems with the big brick of Alaris is I think you're kind of require a captain who's carrying the Ceaseless Hunter upgrade. And captains went up by 20 points. So suddenly that is a 140-point unit with a 30-point upgrade. So it's 170 points on top of the 400-point. It's very expensive to run this big brick of Alaris Terminators. I still do it. I still choose to spend that cost. But it's not a light expense. Therefore, I really enjoy running these smaller tactical 3-man units of Venatari that I can be rapidly ingressing and going all over the place and still doing a lot of damage. They're not going to be killing Lich Guard, but they are going to be killing basically any MSU squad of anything. And then, you know, they do their business. So we love them. I think everything is absolutely pretty awesome. So the strategy with that, guys, how would I use them? So my big brick of Alaris, they're typically starting on the board. Sometimes people argue about whether you should start on the board or whether you should start in Deep Strike. I start mine on the board, and the reason why I do that is because I get to teleport turn 1, assuming my opponent goes first. If my opponent goes first, that's awesome for me because I get to teleport turn 1 into a really good spot to stage my Terminators. I'll always shoot them. I don't always go for the 9-inch charge. A lot of times I roll it, but I don't put them in the position with their teleport to make a 9-inch charge. I just roll it if it happens to be there, because sometimes you get lucky. It's like, all right, cool. But I put them in a position to get a great shooting profile or to get a great staging for next turn. And if I do happen to make the charge, great. Remember, when you're doing a deep strike charge, your goal should never be to make that charge, because that is a great way to get disappointed and lose games. So I start my big brick of Alaris, and then what I do is I'm going to double rapid ingress my 2 to 3-man Venataris in turn 2. And these guys are really going to cause a lot of mayhem and a lot of problems with my opponent's game plan, because my opponent's going to be moving all their things up, ready to obliterate that Alaris blob, but then they go, oh crap, I have these 2 3-mans of Venatari that are going to equally screw me up if I don't handle them. And typically what you can do is you can place these guys in little positions that make one maybe impossible to shoot at except via indirect fire, and then make the other one maybe slightly possible to shoot at, but they're in cover. They don't really want to. There's a lot of things you could do by using rapid ingress. It just opens up so many freaking options for you. So what this does is it gives you the ability to move exceptionally quickly, and you hit very, very hard every single freaking turn. Because every turn that they don't deal with those Venatori, they're going to be falling back and charging again. Which means they need to deal with this Venatari, which a lot of times means that they can't deal with the Alaris brick, which is going to be coming into play. And that Alaris brick is also going to have the Ceaseless Hunter upgrade, so they're going to be falling back, shooting, and charging. By the way, I think I might have glossed over this. The reason why you really need that Ceaseless Hunter upgrade is because this unit is super expensive, but they do crazy damage, but you need them to do their damage every single turn. So you're always going to be utilizing that fallback, shoot, charge, fallback, shoot, charge, fallback, shoot, charge. You'll always, always, always use it. So this is just, it's just tragically difficult for your opponent to be planning on an amazing Overwatch or movement block when you have this many deep striking units, especially when you're deep striking in their turn. So I love the strategy. It really screws up people's game plans, and it gives Custodes a very unique way to play. Because as far as I know, I don't think there's any other army that can get more rapid ingresses. No, I don't think there's any other army that can get the rapid ingresses like this, especially now that you can't use stratagems that are non-battle tactic for free. I think this is a very unique thing that Custodes have, and get ready to see it really wreck some people. I'm debating right now whether I'm taking this list to my GT in November. We'll see. I'm going to play around with it, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. But this is the example of the army list that I'm running right now as my Custodes. I've got a couple different things I'm trying. Like I have a double Caladius build. I actually have a Canis Rex build, which is pretty cool. But this is I think where I'm more kind of, if you want to run the Venatori, this is what I'm doing. So I'm running Trajan, and this is my matrix that I fill out for every army I do. I always fill out the roles that these units do, and it allows me to build these really big, good army lists. I really encourage you to go check out my video that I made on how to construct an army list. It's going to help you so much when you're making your army list if you fill out these matrices as well. So Trajan, he's a killer and a defender. That just means that he buffs the killing potential of his unit, and he buffs the defensive potential of his unit. Valerian is a huge defender. Valerian is only 115 as opposed to 140 for a normal shield captain, and he gives you armor of contempt in melee. So suddenly your wardens are going to be -1 to wound. You can use your kata to make them -1 to hit. Then they're also going to be -1 AP in melee. These guys are not dying in melee, at least. They're just you're not killing them. So then you run an Alaris captain with Ceaseless Hunters because he's running with the Alaris Terminators, obviously. He's a defender, and he's utility because he's going to allow them that, because he increases the defensive buff of his unit because he's always going to be giving them that free -1 damage strat. And then his utility is really nice because he's going to be giving them that fallback, shoot, charge, fallback, shoot, charge. If a unit moves within 9 inches of him, he's going to give me a free ability to move, etc. He's just freaking great. Then we're going to have 2 units of a prosecutors. These girls are going to be holding objectives, they're going to be doing secondaries, and they're going to be screening. And whether that's screening from deep strikers or screening from charges, either way, they're going to be screening and they're going to do their jobs. I have a 5-man of Alaris. These are my damage dealers. These are the guys who kill. They will kill infantries, they will kill tanks, and they're going to rapidly respond to threats. And when I say rapid response, that doesn't mean rapid ingress. That means that they can get to where I need them to go because they have that ability to teleport. And then I'm going to run 2 units of Wardens. These guys are holding my primaries, and they're holding my secondaries, and they're going to kill things that charge into them. But their job isn't necessarily to kill things. Their job is to score my points that allow me to win. Then I've got 2 units of Venatori. These are 3-mans, obviously. They're going to be scoring secondaries. They're going to be doing damage, and they're going to be rapidly responding. And the reason why they're rapidly responding is because they're fast. They get to do that rapid ingress for free, and they're always fallback, shooting, and charging. It's super, super damn useful. The Custodes is going to be scoring me some secondary. It's going to be scoring me some primary. It's going to be rapidly responding things, and it's got great utility. It has that flamer, which is really annoying. It has a fights first, so you can't just charge it with a unit of Storm Boys because she's going to slaughter those Storm Boys when they charge into her. And she's going to be vecting that super important stratagem that my opponent has, whether that is Armor of Contempt, whether that's Ardo's Nails if you're an Orc, whether that is Void Armor if you're going to be the League of Votan. It doesn't matter. It's going to be really getting rid of that super annoying stratagem that everyone hates. And then lastly, I'm keeping my Eversor because this dude is freaking fast. He scores me secondaries. He scores me primary. He's very fast. He rapidly responds. And he's also going to be eliminating any MSU unit screen that you're going to present him with. So this is the army I'm taking right now. Feel free to play around with it. Tweak it. Let me know how it goes. Type into the comments if you like what I did. Type in the comments if you hate what I talked about today. Either way, if you like all this stuff, you can show me some support. by doing super thanks. You can go to my Coffee link and sign up just to be a member of the site. It's $4 a month, and you're really supporting me. And I get to I go through like list reviews and stuff in the Discord. There's also a free section of the Discord where my admins and I are also interacting as well. If you're looking for coaching and you want to really up your game, hit me up as well. I think I'm one of the more affordable coaching services out there. I think it's like Scary and I are probably two of the most affordable coaches out there. And that's basically it. So thank you all for your attention. I hope you have a freaking awesome day. Give these Custodes a try. And until next time, happy crumping.